show number 75 on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Welcome aboard. We have Vernikia, Adrian in the house for this week's Flippinar. Adrian, over to you.
If you are in the host, all right, post it here.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay.
Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us. It is Thursday. As always, we're here to answer your questions in regards to wholesaling. We are wearing pink to support the survivors, the fighters, and the taken. October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So be sure to tell your loved ones that you love them and that you're screening. That's your health note for today. Renita is here. Hey.
Hello. I feel left out. I didn't get the pink memo today. I was wearing pink.
Well, we still
for Breast Cancer Week.
We'll have to wear our Halloween costumes next time. We'll coordinate.
Well, y'all can leave me out that memo. But thank you for being a part of the show. I look forward to providing this free financial and real estate education. So I look forward.
Yay, absolutely. We're not going to hesitate to take any much more of your time. We're going to jump right into this thing. Again, we're live on Facebook, the Facebook group, which is called Wholesaling Real Estate with the Flipman, and on Instagram. You post your questions, I read them, and they get answered. Okay, let's go ahead and jump right on into this thing. Going to YouTube, which is...
I'll go to just search there. Search.
Yeah. Oh, guys, and please tell us how the sound is today. As Todd mentioned earlier, if you got his small commercial, he has some new equipment, and it should work out better for all of us as far as the echoing and feedback. So be sure to let us know. Gregory Lewis, hey. Charles, what's up? See you again. Rhonda from New Jersey, and Jaleesa says she loves the show. PSI Films, do you use the same one-page assignment? Talking about contract or one-page assignment?
You said what now?
Do you use the same one-page assignment?
Well, he's confusing. I don't know what he's confused. I'll explain. I have a video where I show you how to fill out an assignment contract. Then I have the videos where I show you how I use one-page contract that I give away free at my site, flipman.net, that you can use both of those to put the transaction together. You have contract A with you and the seller. They say, I guess, A and B, and then C and D, but contract A with you and the seller, contract B with you and the buyer, and you get the difference. So contract A with you and the seller may be $50,000. Contract B with you and the buyer may be $75,000. So that's a $25,000 spread. Submit that to a closing attorney or title company and close on it. So that's how it works. So you can use an assignment of contract. I preferably don't like to use it, and I don't teach it that way. I don't want the buyer knowingly negotiating my assignment fee. If I say, hey, I want $15,000, then he's going to negotiate $15,000. But if I say I want $75,000, I may have it on the contract for $1. What do you think, Benjamin?
I couldn't have said it any better. I never used the assignment contract. I always used the purchase and sales agreement that has the assignment clause in it, and which allows me to assign my purchase and sales agreement to any assignee. So, and just like you said, if you expose your assignment and if it's too much for this seller, a seller could cancel that deal right at the closing table because of your assignment fee. So sometimes it's just better to not disclose it and just allow it to be a win-win situation regardless. They get the price that they want, the end buyer get the house that they want, and everyone wins. So, so I like the regular purchase and sales agreement with the assignment clause in it.
All right, there you have it, guys. Just going to tap in Gregory Lewis. You want to know how you can get that one-page assignment contract. It's available free to you and anyone else that would love to use it. Visit flipman.net or simply text contract to 313131. And it works everywhere, guys. Keep it simple. Hey, Eric, that is my movie quote guru on Facebook. He says Facebook is working fine. It's a beast. David Storm wants to know, Ty, can you do a video from start to finish on Deal You Later, from the time you find the property, call the seller, and the negotiation for the final price?
Send me a text reminder of that, and I'll try to put something together over the next few days. Text me 205-492-3425. Before we go to the next question, a student has a website she wanted me to promote, and I'm doing this because she's a student. So, but she started her own investment site where you can post deals there. It's called cashbuyersandsellers.com. That's cashbuyersandsellers.com. Right now, you can post your deals there free. So go over there and check it out. I checked it out. I thought it was cool or whatever. So cashbuyersandsellers.com.
All right, guys, one more time, cashbuyersandsellers.com. A great opportunity for any of you looking to post your deals in search of buyers. Sounds like something. Check it out, guys. Let's see here. Going back to YouTube. Hey, Felice from ATL. Let's see here. Okay. Nothing over there. We'll go ahead and bounce over here. The ink spots, if I know. Leonora, I'm sorry, guys. I was fishing for questions. Y'all slacking today. How do I figure the ARV, and what is the reason for the percentage? Why is it a certain percent?
What does she get 30% from?
No. She didn't say 30, a certain percent. She wants to know why is it that 70-30 rule? Where does that exactly come from? And how do you figure? Well, she said, how do you figure the ARV? And what is the reason for the percentage?
Well,
that's actually, I'll let you go. I'll follow up time.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's actually a really great question. The ARV is basically the after repair value. So after a person repairs the property, what is the value of that property and what it's worth to the end buyer, to the end buyer. So the ARV is usually the average of the highest comps and comparables in the area within a half a mile or a mile radius, preferably within the subdivision, will give you the best ARV. But you can go out a half a mile, a mile radius, and maybe almost up to 2 to 3 miles if it's a very strategic or particular type of property. The 30-70 rule basically came from, in my opinion, from the lender. Most lenders would never lend above 70% of ARV. So it just became a standard rule for most investors to invest by, and it makes sense. I mean, anything above 70% of ARV, if you purchase it above 70%, you most likely don't have a spread in there if you rehab it. And if you rehab it and try to flip it, the spread is very tight. So the lender rule of thumb is that they do not lend above 70% of ARV.
Yeah, also you can look at it, 70-30 equals 100%. The 30% of that from an investor point of view is the potential, which it can be all over the board, but that's your profit and or your holding costs. All right, profit could be, and you're saying return on investment, but profit could be 20-25% of that number as far as the ARV, and then the holding costs be 5 to 10%. Things that are considered holding costs would be your actual closing costs, utilities, things like that. So because while the property is sitting there, if you're trying to sell it, you're going to have utilities on, just as an example. So you just really just backdooring the deal by knowing what will make this deal attractive to an investor. That's what you have to look at first. Why would an investor spend cash money on this deal? They're not looking to make 5 or 10% in most cases in the real estate game, especially with houses or whatever. So that's where the formula itself comes from. But I think she asked, I mean, for that 70-30%, that 70%, which you still have to take into consideration the 30%. But I think she asked what the complete formula is, and there are different ways of doing it. The way I put it out there is 70% times ARV times 70% minus your repairs. But I like to also include what you think you want to make on it times 2. And the only reason I do that is to somewhat more ensure that you have a potential deal. And it's just for negotiating room, because it's rare someone, if you say you want this much for it and they pay exactly, well, I ain't gonna say it's rare, it's not as common as them to want to negotiate you down. You may say you want 80 for it, but they may say, hey, I'll give you 72 for it. So it'd be up to you if you want to accept it or not. So just for negotiating purposes. But more importantly, for people starting out, I like to think of the formula as keeping you from wasting time on stuff that has no chance of being a deal, more than anything. So, and the more you do it, I can just hear numbers and I say, oh, what are the repairs? You know, I don't know, that's my ability to calculate, add and subtract, because I can't really go beyond that. But, but you know, I can just hear some numbers. I'm like, oh, that's a deal, or that's a deal. You know what I'm saying? So, but for people starting out, it's a great way to keep you from wasting time on stuff that has no chance of being a deal.
And just to add one more thing to the equation, the 70% part should be your all-in cost. Your all-in cost should not be more than 70% of ARV. Your all-in cost is your purchase price plus your rehab.
Mm-hmm. And plus paying you.
Yeah, and your assignment. Exactly. Yeah.
Quiz question. That song you were singing earlier, you know what it was? What's the name of it?
What? Talking about what?
Yeah, actually doesn't. Well, I guess it's on San Francisco too. Yeah.
If I didn't care.
Oh, question what you were saying?
You don't question me about some sample this song?
It's the E by the E spot.
I don't know who it was by, but I knew the name of the song.
It was actually on Shawshank Redemption too.
Oh, I didn't hear it on there.
Probably on.
I watched that book a lot of times.
Yeah, and you know, tell me here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go here. Hi, Nellie Lee. She says, hi, everyone. I'm excited. I'm learning how to get on your live Flippinar. We're excited to have you here, Nellie. And we can get on with the flip a check, flip a egg. PSI, you asked about the contract earlier. Yes, you use the same one-page contract with the end buyer and also with the motivated seller. Absolutely. Same one-page contract. Keep it simple. Going down, GSI TV wants to know, what do you use for your list to cold call? So I guess maybe an organizational question. How do you organize that list? What service or what software maybe?
Well, I use, the people that help me with it, they use Mojo Dollar. The actual website is mojosales.com. That's MOJOSELLS.com. It acts as a CRM system where you can track, you know, all your calls. You know, it's really designed for real estate. There are a lot of other ones out there, but it's designed for real estate. So that's what I use. You know, the people that I pay for, but people use it that, you know, make cold calls for me. So.
Okay, let's see here. Jermaine Smith says hello from ATL. He wants to know, when doing direct mail, is it a good idea to buy a list? If so, where from and how much? What other direct mail tips do you have to target sellers? Dun, dun, dun.
You answering those?
I'm gonna try to handle that. Ty's the master of this.
Okay. All right. Well,
you asked.
Thank my brother for asking that question. But there are a lot of ways to do direct mail, but I have to toot what I promote or whatever and what I actually use, which is Mail to Flip, you know, by GCG, which is Graphics Connections Group out of St. Louis. But what they do, they have a unique method, and I don't even have any of the cards here with me because I moved or whatever from where we used to do the recordings. But But basically, if you go to YouTube, do a search for Mail to Flip, that's MAIL, the number 2, and flip, and you'll see the videos. But basically, to answer your question, to where you buy your list is you can do that in several different places. You'll hear people say list source, Melissa Data, which is melissa.com, and that's listsource.com. There's some other ones out there. Now, Gingulate will actually, which is AKA PropStream, will produce a list for you also, which I have videos on that where you can create actual lists for all types of sellers and cash buyers. When I say all types of potential sellers or property owners, vacant properties, free and clear, high equity, pre-foreclosures, foreclosures, auctions, listed properties. So it just depends on what you're looking for. I normally like to go with non-owner occupied, and that just covers everything. But that just means, and that's also considered absentee, which means they own the property, but they don't live there. So those are several places where you can buy the list. But what's unique about the Mail to Flip that I promote, and this is a sample card that Adria designed, but the other was a little bit more, they're a little larger or whatever. She did a great job on it. I start crying up here. She did a great job on it, but she wasn't responsible for the printing. So we did, but anyway, so but the ideal is that the whole purpose of direct mail is to get someone's attention, get the owner's attention, which can be very difficult because you're not the only one sending them mail just in general, but even with real estate offers to buy their house. So you send a picture of their actual property on the mailer. So you say, wow, these people I took a picture of my house, so let me see what they're talking about. So it's just a great way to get a higher response rate. That's what it all boils down to. Just let the numbers take over from there as far as how well you can negotiate. So mailtoflip.com, you can buy your list from listsource.com or melissa.com, or you just get a Gingulate subscription. You can download as many lists as you want. So boom. Boom. That makes sense?
Yes. Perfect sense, but I wasn't gonna cry.
Okay.
Adrian did a great job.
Thank you. Okay, so Ventravis Moss says, I have a home seller, did reverse mortgage, died, and now it went to the daughters. She wants $276,000. Oh, I hate when it does that.
Altogether?
Yeah, it rotated up, so no, I can't see it. That bums me.
Tell her just repost your question.
Ms. Moss, repost that. No. Adria's smart. She figured it out. Okay, $276,000 because that's what it's owed. The ARV is $319. It was built in 1985, and everything needs to be replaced and fixed. What do you do or offer? Now, just at the top, $319 ARV with $276 being owed, and everything needs to be replaced. That don't sound
like you can put that calculator down. 319, 276. It could be in pristine condition.
It's still
yeah.
Ms. Moss, well, it's not really much you do, because if that's what's old, that's what's old.
But let's just, for the sake of helping her out, it's 319 times 70. What was it? 319. Well, 319 times 70% is 223,300 by itself. We wouldn't even have to go any farther than that or whatever. We don't even have to worry about repairs. But say a need on a house like that could easily go 75,000 in repairs. I'm just throwing a number out there. So we're at 148. So that's how far you are from a deal. But again, that's part of why you do the formula. So you wouldn't even have to worry about the repairs once you did the 70% times the 319. You were so far off, and what she owed, she's not, in most cases, she's not going to come to the closing table over $40,000. It just doesn't work that way. So.
Hey, Ayoka. just putting it out there, Ms. Moss, that was still a good question because that's the only way you learn.
Yeah, that's the only way. I was making fun at Renika because she had the calculator. I just said put it down.
Yeah, so it was a good starting point, but not necessarily a deal there. Yeah. Let's see here. Do you use an auto dialer? Auto dialer for cold calling, and when cold calling, is there a certain time of day to call to maximize your results?
What do you think?
Personally, I think if you're starting off, I wouldn't use an auto dialer. You want to get people on the phone. You want to have that personal conversation. You want to talk to as many people as possible. If you do an auto dialer, and they're just leaving messages on your behalf, and you're not, and you have to pretty much put it in their hands again to give you a call. I wouldn't personally do that if I'm just starting off. I mean, just, beat that pavement, make those phone calls. As far as if there's a certain time to call, I mean, of course. I mean, people work during the day. They may have kids' activities at night. I would try to call people at least 3 times a day. First time in the morning, maybe around lunchtime, and another time in the evening time, and see which day works. But everyone days are different. Therefore, you just got to make those phone calls around the clock. What do you think, Tom?
Exactly. You may have a day where, say, I'm just gonna call everybody in the mornings on this day, and then the next day I'm gonna call this group on during lunchtime, or then the next day you may say I'm gonna call everybody in the evening. That's so through Wednesday. So on Thursday and Friday you may just call them all three times. So but there's no rhyme or reason to it. But just understand you're gonna have to call different periods of the day. Because you can have some elderly people or older retired people that they're there all day. You know what I'm saying? Then you got some people or whatever. So you just have to be obviously you want to track what times you're calling and what's working. You may find out, hey, I get more results when I call at 5:30 or whatever. But you still really gonna have to just call periodically through the day because everyone, as Renika said, everyone's schedule is different. So.
Okay, piggybacking off of that, because I actually have a lot of questions in regards to cold calling, so I'm trying to tie them all together. Mario wants to know, so he says another type of person let deals come to him, but does he have people cold calling for him now? If so, how do you train people to call for you? So then you give them a script, or you just do an example? So what do you think, Renika? What do you tell people who are going to that may not even know how to answer the questions? That's the kick. You're getting people to call, I think, right? You're getting people to call and ask about wholesaling, or asking motivated sellers that can't answer the questions. So I guess, what do you do?
I would definitely start off with a script, and have multiple questions and answers to those questions, just in case the seller come back with this question and this rebuttal, that particular cold caller know how to answer those. But the point of a cold call is determine if the house is for sale. If the house is for sale, determine how much the seller wants for the property. If it fits the price range that you think, or whatever, if it doesn't fit the price range, at least you know the property is for sale. Try to get access to the property so you can go out and take a look at it. From there, you do your evaluation and you get the seller back on the phone. I don't think the cold caller should call the seller after you have done your final valuation. That's a closing call. And therefore, you want to jump on a call and close that deal with the seller after you have done your evaluation.
Okay. Now, tagging on to that, Mojo Sales doesn't actually provide the numbers to cold call you. It's just a service you drop your numbers into, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So know that, guys. Mojo Sales doesn't provide you with the list. You still have to put the list into the Mojo Dialer, which we have people who say they've seen it and love it. And the last question in regards to the cold calling is going to be, when do you call that number back? When do you circle back for the people who didn't answer?
Oh, how hungry are you?
Yeah, you're gonna have to call. easily 7 to 8 times before you get them on the phone. Now, some people you call they pick right up, but that's going to happen. But you have to know, like people I have worked helping me, I guess we're partnered on it. They said, well, I went through the list. Well, you got to go back through it. You got to go back through it. I need, what else? I need more new leads. No, you need to go back through that list at a different time. You know what I'm saying? So, because most people, it's not going to answer. It's just, you don't ever know when you're catching them or whatever. So you have to call periodically to reach those individuals. Then sometimes you call them and they say, hey, this is a bad time or whatever. They didn't tell you not to call them back or whatever, just a bad time. So in Mojo, it has an option where you can follow whether you ask them what's the best time to call them back or whatever, or a better number or something. So, but to answer the question, you got to keep calling. You need to basically keep calling until you either get an answer or I don't know. It's really no, expect 7 to 8 times really is no rhyme or reason on it or whatever. It's as far as how many times. If you don't ever get an answer so you just got to have a different list that filters that out. Filters that out or whatever. You got to keep calling back, man. Like Radisha said, feel how bad you want it, you know.
Right. Okay. Now, you can get that calculator out. Pro Randall isn't a deal question. So guys, listen to the numbers and see how we plug and chug. And this is one that you very well may not need the calculator for because I didn't read it beforehand, but I'm gonna read it anyway. Okay, he says, I have a property under contract. The ARV is $55,687. So we'll say $56,000. You're asking for $24,000. The repairs range from 10 to 15. So we'll use the upper end of that 15. So that would 30, 39. Okay, closing on the 5th of November. No buyer yet. Literally pulling my hair out. Have I done something wrong?
Might not got it enough.
I mean, that's a deal. That's a deal. I mean, your 70% threshold is 39,000. You have about 15,000 repairs right there. I would drop the price, but I mean, you have so many options with this deal. You have an option with someone who want to come in and flip it, and you have an option with a buyer who wants to buy and hold. That's actually a great buy and hold property because the numbers just made sense. And the return on their money will be probably in the 20% range. So I will probably tweak it on drop it to 19,000. I'm not for sure how much money you have in it, but sometimes just drop the price, and maybe you'll be able to get our market, do more marketing, because it's actually a great deal from the numbers. I'm not for sure where it's located.
So that 24,000 was the price he had in the contract for?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
But we don't know how much he's putting it out there for. No, he said asking 24,000. He's asking 24 plus repair. So obviously he has it under contract for less than the 24. I'm hoping. So does the area of this property that makes that the end game matters, the area probably matters, and the price. So at this point, if you're closing on November 5th, that's like next week. You probably might have to extend your contract and or renegotiate that amount ultimately, right?
Yeah, you're gonna better go back to them, ask them for more time, they give it to them. Gonna go back to them, ask for more time, they don't.
Okay. Hey, Shaq Smith. Shaq Smith is from what state? D-Town, Detroit. How you doing? Off-roader has an easy question. He says it's an easy question. I think it's an easy question. Renikia, it's going to be an easy question for you. It says, what do you usually wear to go show a property to a buyer or the first time meeting a seller?
Hey, but before we did that, I wanted to, since the guy was asking about some buyers, I want to share my screen here.
Okay.
And I'm trying to work this software out here, make it happen. But I want to share the screen. I'm in the simulated AK prop stream. And so what I did, this is the very first property I ever wholesale right here, 1232 18 Place Southwest, Birmingham 35201. right?
Ever? Like that's really the first one?
That's the first one.
Wow.
And so what I did was I went in and I put that address in. Maybe I need to show you how I did that. I put the address in up here, did a search. So then I hit details. So now it pulled up the property details. This is the lady that bought it from the investor that I flipped it to. She's still there or whatever. Transaction history. So that's when this was back in, so this is the two sisters that okay, they're the names there. I'm proud. Wow. Miss Margaret and Miss Alice. And this was back March 6, 2003. Yeah, wholesale to the guy for 21. Actually, it was probably 25. I'm not sure why she wanted 21. Oh, I had on the contract for 20. But anyway, so the lady that bought it from him, so Home Sourcing is the one that purchased it through the wholesale deal with me. And then they rehabbed it and flipped it to her for this amount. So you can see the spread there. All right, because they have repairs included. All right, so I put it in, so I hit details, go back to details, I'm sorry. And so I go to comparable sales. And what I'm looking for, because I'm trying to show the guy how he can use this to find buyers, potentially find cash buyers for his properties. So it'll show you comps right here. That's the first thing it's going to pull up when you go into the comps tab. But also it has a tab here for cash buyers, okay? So I'm selecting that, which is already selected. And what I did, I went to most recent sales date. If I hit this twice, it go from most recent, then you do it again, it go to the dates further out. So what you can do is now you see the transactions that have occurred in that exact area now of recent. Like this was back in August, someone bought one for 48, 30, 3,500, 24. So, you know, they're getting these properties in here really cheap because, you know, it's still, you know, $50,000, $60,000 neighborhood. But over here, you see the map, which it details that particular area. So I'm showing you all this because what you can do is you can actually create a list right here. So right now I already have a list name, but you can go ahead and create a new list and save it. And then you can download that list, that spread list, that spreadsheet, and you can append the phone numbers for those actual cash buyers. Now you can do it here, right here in the software, but the third party that they append their phone numbers through, they're updating that because it wasn't as accurate in some markets versus others. Other services that you can use to append those phone numbers is datafinder.com and or Mojo Sales. Mojo has the reverse lookup within their application, which is the dialer we've been talking about. So I just wanted to show you all that since we were talking about it. So back to regular programming.
That's pretty neat.
That's good.
I like doing that. That's a good tool. Cool. Okay, off-road questions. What you wear? What you put on?
Okay, yeah, that was what you wear. So go ahead, Renika. I'm gonna be a bad example on that. Go ahead.
I might be a bad example too. I'm probably extra. So I would just say be presentable. I would say be professional. Professional in your presence. But at the same time, I have and real estate is just so different. I mean, sellers are not big corporations. They're their own brand. So sometimes, I mean, I could say that there's a lot of people that you can be yourself at the same time, but just be professional, presentable. I'll put it like that. But I'm always in business casual. When I'm meeting sellers, when I'm out handling business, I'm always in business casual. But I know that a lot of people are not. I mean, a lot of people wear jeans and things of that nature. It's all what you're comfortable with. But at the same time, just make sure your presence is professional.
Okay, all right. That house that we just were talking about, that first deal that I ever wholesale, this is what I showed up in right here. I'm giving you a screen share. A 1985 Toyota Celica convertible. I love that car, but it was a 20-year-old car. You know what I'm saying? And so that was in 2003, so it was 18-year-old car. I'm sorry, 18 years old. All right, and when I
had that drop top, that was kind of cool. You was low key.
Let me show you that. See, that's what the top down right there.
You ain't pulled up with the top back, did you? You ain't pulled up.
The real.
That's how you pick up your first check right there. Top back.
I'm gonna buy me one. I'm gonna buy me one of those too. But anyway, so when I showed up Miss Brown's house, she thought I actually had the money then. I was going there to sign the contract. I said, no, it doesn't work like that or whatever. And anyway, so I just wanted to just bring that out that was an older car. It looked okay or whatever, but it was still almost a 20-year-old car. So, and they didn't even care because they were motivated to sell. I ain't saying show up like a bum, but don't let that stop you. You know what I'm saying? Some won't, some won't. I'm sorry. Most won't, but enough will. You know what I'm saying? And so even after the close, I had built such a good rapport with those ladies that, when we got out of closing, they were just happy. They said, how much did you get, Taylor? You know what I'm saying? So they got
now I would have sold it happy for you.
Yeah, they got their 20,000 or so, and I said I got 2,500. So they were just happy for me because I solved their problem. Their mom had left them a house, and like a lot of people, we ain't selling mama a house, blah blah blah. Yeah, after about 5 years of renting to family and friends, and them not paying them, tearing the house up a few times, they having to fix it so they can rent it back out. They was DONE. They were ready to sell that night. Oh.
Hi, Crystal.
That's
that man on the wholesale clean real estate equipment, and I see her there. Hey, she is a busybody. They talk about securing the bag. That's securing the bag. Her and Renika are my item. Just like them. When I get old, I'm gonna be like Ty. Now I'm young, I'm gonna be like Crystal and Renika. Oh, no offense. I'm sorry. Yoka, hey Yoka Moss from Tennessee. She's currently working on her first deal and it's on a vacant single family home. I'm now trying to get a buyer and I'm using Dealulator. Yes, Dealulator, aka PropStream, but we do suggest that you sign and register for Dealulator.com. That is Dealulator.com. To find cash buyers and have been handwriting yellow letters to all buyers within the last 6 months that's purchased in the zip code. Kind of what Ty just showed you there. Just showed you an example. Craigslist hasn't populated serious buyers, so I'm going this route. Any more suggestions, and how do you feel about the yellow letters? I'm guessing she's sending the letters to the buyers. Well,
yeah, you could do it that way. That's a slow grind or whatever, sending out letters to buyers, but you really need to try to get those phone numbers, as many as you possibly can by using some form of an append service, as I said. So normally it's not that much data. I'm giving you some nuggets here. Datafinder.com and again Mojo to do that with. Because even if you pulled a list of 100 and you only got a legitimate 20 phone numbers, that's still 20 phone numbers of people have bought in that area or whatever. You don't need one of those to perform. So
get the numbers. Continue.
I would definitely think skip tracing would be a better place to put my dollars if you was kind of figuring out where to put it, and skip tracing over yellow letters, if you had to choose the two. Because it's nothing like getting a live person on the phone.
Nothing like it. With all this technology, old telephone still is a powerful tool.
David Storm has a pretty popular question that everybody wants to know, and if you're starting out, Renika, that question is, what type of deals do you target first? Tax liens, foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, vacant, out-of-state owners, what? What should they go for first?
If you're starting out,
yes,
whatever you can find, and then figure out what you can do with it. But to target your marketing, I would probably start, if I had to choose between all of those, I'll start with absentee owners and low-hanging fruits, which is vacant properties in your neighborhoods, and also skip tracing to find owners with absentee owners lists.
Okay.
Time.
And Ayoka said she tried to pin the numbers, but only one of them came back correct. But you just mentioned that they were updating the system.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, how large is that list that you download? And again, you can use those other services also. But you have to understand how to scrub your list. Once you download it from the PropStream application, you have to set it up a certain way to be able to upload it to datafinder.com and or Mojo Sales in order for it to pull those numbers. I mean, those lists, you gotta, normally it's the person's name, maybe multiple owners that you pull up for one specific person or what's the word, data field or whatever. So it may be two owners, but you're basing your search on their mailing address, not the property address that they bought. Sometimes you do that, but you're really basing it on their mailing address. That's their household in most cases. So that's how the search is normally done. So.
Okay. Austin Allen, that was dealyoulater.com. Dealyoulater.com. It is AKA PropStream. I see some of you saying PropStream is the software we're talking about. It is. But as a subscriber to Flipman, we ask that you utilize.
Well, yeah, you can go directly to PropStream. They're going to charge you $129. Don't go through me. It's $97 a month. So, but you get the free 5-day trial. So it's up to you. Back door. Keep paying bills some kind of way.
Invest in yourself. It's a great investment. It's a great investment.
All right, Courtney, I currently live in Europe, but I will be moving back to the U.S. in December. Should I wait to start doing deals until I'm actually physically back in the States, or can I close deals remotely? December is just right around, so get started.
You can definitely close deals remotely. One of my biggest buyers is out of California in Israel. So there's something called an absentee, out-of-state closing. And that's when the attorney will overnight the documents to you or send the documents to you via email. You'll print it out. You'll go to a banker somewhere, get it notarized, sign it, and you will overnight it back to the closing attorney, and they can close it. You send them your wiring instructions, and they wire you the money. So I would definitely start now. You do not have to be in one physical state. I'm in Georgia, but I can still wholesale something in Alabama with Ty. You do not have to be physically there. You just got to understand the principles and the strategies to put these deals together.
Yeah, if she's trying to do it from wherever, but she's overseas. The main thing is, do you have someone? I'm assuming she said she's from here.
Well, she's moved stateside in December, but she's currently in Europe.
I know that, but I'm saying, is she from here? Well, yeah, you just need somebody on the ground to represent you if you're trying to put deals together. And what I mean represent you, it could be someone you know, it could be a wholesaler, it could be a real estate agent, but you have to have someone to represent you, because you can have a great deal on a house under contract, and if the buyer's local and the seller's local, the buyers don't want to see the house. And if they don't let you put a lockbox on there some kind of way, the seller's only going to let you show when they're there, then you need somebody there to make sure your interest is being represented. Letting the buyer know that you negotiate the price with me. You need to find some history about the property, but that person needs to be walking with them to make sure there ain't no hanky-panky going on, so that you get cut out of the deal. So as long as you have someone, to represent you, oh yeah, you can make it happen anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trickery.
I don't think that's too current either.
Okay. Josie has a good question, and after we answer this question, Renikia, I have someone that wants to know about the $150,000 business loan. So they need to know about all the services that you can provide to them while I have everybody listening. But let's answer this question and then jump into that. Josie wants to know, what is the lowest market that you will put your bandit signs in as far as the ARV? I put them in the northeast part of Birmingham. I figure they won't stay up in the southeast side. So I go to the west side where the ARV is lower.
Oh, well, he's asking about Birmingham, so I can tell you. you want to put them where you get away with them, right? If people are living in one of the first things I learned when I got in this business, I'm done with, he's dead now. Every house is a step up for someone. And his point was, and I'm not saying that's what you're trying to ask, you just asked where you put your bandit signs, but his point is that if there's someone living there, especially if it's a large segment of people that are living in a particular area, someone is investing in it, or they're not living there for free. In most cases, the house is paid for, but they still have to buy it. So either they are buying or renting. I don't care where it is. They're either buying or renting. We know that. Unless again, the house is paid for. So, and we know most people are either doing one of the two things. So, but as far as the bandit signs in Birmingham on that northeast side, you're talking Center Point, Roebuck, Huffman, Clay, Trussville, those areas. So yeah, you can get away with the center. Now the city of Center Point, they're their own entity. They will call you if you put signs up in Center Point. So I would suggest that you don't put signs up in Center Point. One of the few times I've ever been called about signs, the mayor called me, the assistant to the mayor called me. I ignored it. It wasn't even that many. It was like it was like 3 or 4, and they could have took them down. That's why I didn't go there and get them. So the sheriff department called me. But when he called me, he was laughing. Man, please don't take these signs. They worried, you know what? You know, cause he got big. He had big. I know in Jefferson County, the Jefferson County Sheriff Department, he has bigger fish to fry than the word about bandit sign. And a lot of markets like, you know what I'm saying? So just beware. So you're talking about Birmingham, stay out of Center Point. At least for what I hadn't been on, they may change or whatever. I just hadn't had any signs placed over in those areas. But West End, ends, all those western areas, Pratt City, Forestdale, all those areas, yeah, they're good to go.
All right. So, Ms. Renikia, tell them how they can contact you, what services you provide, and how you can help them step their game up and secure the bag.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. That was an easy setup question. So as you know, wholesaling takes little to no money, and it's the best way to get into the game and start learning your local area and investing in real estate with a very low cost to yourself. But if you want to begin to flip real estate, if you want to start building a buy and hold portfolio, you will need money. So one of the services that we created is a program called Gap Funding. Gap Funding is a program that if you have at least a 680 or higher, you're able to leverage your credit to receive up to $150,000. I'll call it the Investor Down Payment Assistance. It helps you secure the down payment. As you know, a hard money lender would give you the money to purchase the property and the money to rehab it, but they would never give you 100%. You'll always have to come to the table with 10 to 20%. So the Gap Funding program allows you to leverage your credit to receive up to $150,000. You want to take advantage of that program, you want to go to fundmynextdeal.com. Fundmynextdeal.com. I am on all social media platforms, my first and last name, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And if you want to email me, if you have any questions about the program, you can email me at funding@fkfinancials.com.
All right, guys, fkfinancials.com. Reach out to Ms. Renikia if any of her services, which all of them, could and will benefit you if you take advantage of them. As with everything else that is provided with you, from Tyler, Flipman, and Taylor, the 270 plus videos, free, the contract, free for time. He also has an ebook, not free, but it is available to you. Let's see here. He streams live across all social media platforms on Thursdays. You can also rewatch the videos live on, what is it, Art Radio?
Yeah, iHeartRadio and iTunes. So Android and YouTube, Android and Apple devices are covered. You can access those, obviously going directly to either one of those platforms, but also at flipmanpodcast.com.
All right, guys. So utilize all the tools that are put in place for you. Mail2flip.com for your direct mailing leads. Deal You Later for your searching of your driving for dollar leads, or 50/50 got deals. If you have a deal that is not currently on the market and you currently have it under contract, reach out to Ty. 50/50 got deals. See if possibly you can partner and get that deal closed. We will be here next Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. We thank you for joining us. Please join the Facebook group, Wholesaling Real Estate with Flipman, where you can continue to ask questions. There are a lot that we didn't get to this week. We'll be here next week to answer those questions as well. But use that Facebook group to partner with people that possibly are in your area. Tag team, build your squad, get this wholesaling thing done. It's easy, guys. You just have to use the resources available to you. And that's all I got. You got anything to say other than that? Let's get it started.
No, that's we good. Let's go.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Go wholesale some houses. And see you on the flip side. Bye.
All right.